Hello, my beautiful humans. Hey, it's me, Kirsten, and this is the It's Giving Mystical podcast. And this is your podcast for the week ahead, the week of October 11th, 2024. I don't know why this 10-11, something about it, like when I was feeling into the energy and I was like pulling the card, I was like 10-11, something about it feels like push play. Like push play, like let's see, let's go. And I don't know how you're feeling, where you are in your life, but sending you so much good momentum, like sending you good momentum in the week ahead. This last week, the Queen of Cups, there were probably some things that came up for you to process, some things that came up for you to sit with. Maybe there was some emotion, some sadness or some anger or some joy or just some kind of like some heaviness that you've been carrying that I pray and hope you were able to clarify and work with this week. There's something about the Queen of Cups that allows us to see more clearly. One of my favorite fairy tales, actually my favorite fairy tale, bar none, when I was growing up was the one East of the Sun, West of the Moon. And I had a beautiful copy of it. And in that fairy tale, she has to get a cup from the bottom of the well and the water is really cloudy. And the frog comes and she grants him a wish, like maybe she kisses him or she lets him visit her or something like that. And in return, he clears the water and retrieves the cup. Clearing the water, there's something like that came up in this past week. Something that was foggy or confused. It's like some magic creature came and cleared the water, or the Queen of Cups came and she dropped a stone that cleared the water. There's some way in which the emotional confusion or emotional fogginess or emotional murkiness got cleared up in this last week. And I hope that was your experience, and I hope that ended up being a gift to you. In any case, clarity is a gift, right? Even if our eyes clear and we're like, holy shit, what have I been doing? Or why did I think that was this way when it was that way? At least it's clear now. Like at least you can see clearly now, and you can trust yourself to know what to do next. Playing with the facts, playing with clarity, playing with what is, it's like a whole new game. It's so much easier. Even the most difficult parts are so much easier. Okay, I say all of that because this 10-11, this push-play energy, and then I pulled the Knight of Wands. Okay, we had our King of Wands. We talked about how he yearns for the days that he was a knight. Like he remembers that feeling of being wild and free and no responsibilities. The Knight of Wands is this wistful energy. It feels good. He feels good. They feel good. There's just this sense of freedom in the Knight of Wands. And wand energy is always going to be about our fire, our heat, our creativity, our sexuality, our vigor, our momentum, our desire, our yearning for life. Wand's energy always feels good. It's warm. Can it burn? Can it singe? 100%. But the pure, most beautiful gift of fire energy is warmth. Warmth and connection and excitement and enthusiasm. And knights always bring messages. So in the most traditional reading of a tarot card, when the knights show up, it means communication's coming in. It means there's going to be dialogue, exchange, movement. And you can see that and feel that very literally in your life. Or you can think about that in a little bit more of a metaphorical way, in that the knights and whatever suit they're holding, there's momentum around that suit. There's nothing stagnant about knight energy. Even the Knight of Pentacles, who is our most staid, our most still knight, is still moving. He's just moving at the pace of a field or moving at the pace of seasonal cycles. So he's still moving, he's just moving maybe at a slightly slower pace. The fastest knight in the deck? Oh, it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up. What do you think? Is it the Knight of Wands or is it the Knight of Swords? We could probably have an interesting conversation about what moves faster. The energetics, the desire, the heat, the magnetism, or the thoughts, the words, the language, the mental movement, the air movement. What's faster, air or fire? Interesting. Curious. What do you think? The Knight of Wands he feels good, man. He feels good. He is the friend you see at a party or a gathering that opens their arms wide and says, I can't believe you're here. I'm so happy you're here. I'm so excited to see you. It's the feeling of finding a friend in the crowd. It's the feeling of your favorite song coming on. It's the feeling of like reunion. It's the feeling of laughter. It's the feeling of joy. It is a very happy, seductive energy. energy. The reason the King of Wands looks back and is like, oh, the good old days, is because to be the Knight of Wands is to be so free and full of life and excited and passionate about being here. The other beautiful energy that the Knight of Wands brings us is he is indefeatable, infatigable, if that's a word. This idea of nothing gets him down. So he comes to a river and he can't cross it, he'll figure it out. Will he build a bridge? Yes. Will he force his way through the water? Yes. Like he will find a way towards his desire, towards his goal. Nothing deters him. It's this energy of like, I know why I'm here, I know what I want, and nothing will cause me to give up. It's such optimism, like such a deep, deep optimism. It just feels so good. I don't know if it's just because it's been foggy and murky, and maybe the Queen of Cups coming in to clarify some things, and then the Knight of Wands coming in to say, let's do this, let's push play, 10-11. I don't know exactly what that means, but I feel it very deeply, and I feel excited about it. Also a little bit nervous about it. It has that duality to it, right? Be careful what you wish for, because you wish for these things and then they arrive and you're like, hey, uh-oh. Like, holy shit, what do I do now? And also, it's a reflection of your own power, your own ability to make beauty in the world, to make what you seek in the world, to create the circumstances of your life. Say it again, Marianne Williamson, she was so right on when she said, we're not afraid of being helpless or powerless, right? We're afraid of exactly how powerful we are. If you had permission to live in your full radiance, like your full strength, like turned it all the way on, like this one goes to 11. If you really move through the world fully engaged in just how powerful you are, what would life look like? How would other people react? What would happen in your community, in your family, in your space, in your work? That's the question the Knight of Wands confronts us with, because they are not afraid. Like, they are not afraid to go after what they want. They are not afraid to say what's true. They are not afraid to declare their love. They're not afraid to leave the next day if it doesn't still feel good to them. So that's why they get that Romeo reputation. The Knight of Wands is also, if we're talking about a romantic situation, know that the Knight of Wands is really exciting and really charming and really magnetic and delicious. Like, feels good, feels hot, feels free. And it's not meant to be sustainable. So the Knight of Wands gets that Romeo reputation because it feels really good that night and the next morning they're gone. That's kind of the vibe with the Knight of Wands. And you can say that when they leave, it's because it wasn't in alignment. So if the Knight of Wands is meant to stay in a place, they'll stay in a place. But there has to be fuel for the fire. There has to be fuel for that heat. There has to be fuel for that passion. So wouldn't it be a beautiful life if you could feel that Knight of Wands energy in your environment, in your space, in your work, in your relationships, and you knew that it was worth fueling it and you could continue to feel good? It was back to that idea of limitation around how good we allow ourselves to feel. How good we allow ourselves to feel. How fully do you allow yourself to be you? In the Tarot Mystery School this week, we did this invocation, this initiation into the first 7 cards of the tarot, really embodying those energies, activating those energies in our field. When I tell you that the capacity for your body to hold more energy, the capacity for you to access greater amounts of power, it sounds like poetic language when I talk about it sometimes, or it sounds like a theory or, again, a metaphor, and it's not. We really have so much more access to knowledge, to intuition, to power, to connection than we realized, than we were taught, than these little bodies can sometimes handle. We talk about this idea of preparing your vessel. We talk about this idea of grounding. Have you ever heard the thing like root to rise? We say that not just as like a yogic pose, but you say that as a sense of, no, you really do need to ground into this vertical space to increase your capacity on the horizontal. And what that means is that we can only take in as much as we are rooted deep. The Knight of Wands is just kind of bringing all of that up here to say, where are you holding back? Where are you dimming your own light? Where are you not going after what you want? So when the Knight of Wands comes into our space, comes beautifully, gallantly, excitedly into our party space, he's trying to remind you that life does feel good, that life is beautiful, and it is brief and hot and exciting and yours for the taking. like yours for the taking. And so that's a beautiful invitation this week to notice, A, where these exchanges are in your life. Like, who are the people? Where are the spaces? Where is the work? Where's the art that just lights you up? Where's the fuel for your fire? And do you allow yourself to consume it? Like, do you allow yourself to take it in and alchemize it and release it again? Like, do you allow yourself to really feed your own fire? Who are the people, spaces, activities, and art and communities where that is encouraged, where people applaud you and say, yes, girl, yes, guy, like shine bright. We want to see all of you. We want to see how big you can get, how wide you can get, how much you can take. Right? Like, how beautiful can this life become? I mean, I love it. And I love that reminder from the Knight of Wands that you are the Knight of Wands and they are the Knight of Wands. And together we can kind of create really beautiful things. So it feels like this energy this week of push play, of invite collaboration into your life in a wider sense and trust what feels good. And again, we've talked for the past few months, this conversation around hangover has come around, this conversation around nourishment. And when it feels good, does it allow you to feel good in the moment and then continue to feel good? And so hopefully we've done some work to really clarify in our own space. This might feel good, but it's not nourishing me. It's not sustaining me. It's just kind of a quick high. And the Knight of Wands is an interesting mirror of that energy, because the cleanest part of the Knight of Wands, there's no hangover. There's just like a real pure exuberance and joy for life. And the shadow side of the Knight of Wands is a hangover, is this idea of like, it was good and fun and hot while it lasted, but I'm depleted now. So you really want to think about this idea of a slow burn. You want to think about this idea of what fuels your fire. You want to think about this idea of where you limit your light. So the Knight of Wands just becomes this conversation. You are a beautiful, radiant being. Where do you feed that light from? Like, what grounds that light? What nourishes that light? And where do you limit that? Like, where are the stories around how much fun you're allowed to have, how good it's allowed to feel, how beautiful your life is allowed to be? All of that comes up with the Knight of Wands. It feels very activating. It feels very in relation. So it feels like there's a lot of realization about, again, people, community, art, work that lights you up, that turns you on, that brings this kind of good, warm flame into your life. And a lot of conversation around, what are you willing to fight for? Like, what are the things you burn for that you know you will cross any river that comes, like climb any mountain that comes? And there's just this basic, fundamental desire to be alive, like to live while you're alive, that the Knight of Wands brings to the table. And something about him coming on the heels of the Queen of Cups just feels really good and exciting. And I'm so curious what unlocks for me and you and the world this week when the Knight of Wands is with us. Again, the only real downside is that it's a come and go energy. It's, you want to think about fire as so warm and nourishing, and it can burn, it can singe, it can sting. And so you just want to be noticed in your own life and with other people and in environments and in communication where the heat is not regulated, or not a warm, loving heat, where the heat becomes something that doesn't feel good. Simply put. Okay, sending you so much love. May you feel the Knight of Wands activated in your own being and activated in the world around you. And may you make beautiful things and beautiful moments and beautiful memories from that space. Yeah, let life feel good this week. Embrace it. Play a little bit more than maybe you normally would this week, and see where that laughter, that joy, that excitement, that, I don't know, good feeling takes you. Take care. Bye. It's giving everything is sacred. It's giving art. It's giving light you up and turn you on and set you free. It's giving curiosity. It's giving freedom. It's giving love. It's giving you are more magical and powerful than you can comprehend. It's giving, I don't know what's happening, but I am so here for it. It's giving you are pure potential. It's giving mystical.